Hello, everyone. Welcome to Maple Street. This is kind of crazy. I have not done a live stream since December of 2021. Pretty crazy. I didn't mean for it to be that long since my last live stream, but that's just what happened. So I'm back for another video today. And on today's live stream, I just want this to be super chill. It's really weird. I'm feeling like nervous. I haven't done this in so long. I feel like I'm like rusty or something. So I'm just going to be really chill. The reason I wanted to do a live stream tonight was I would like to talk to you about the Halloween movies I watched this October. You know, I watched a lot, I think 25 or 26, and I want to talk about it with you. And so I am hoping that um, on tonight's live stream, we can just have chill conversation, talk about some good old black and white movies. All right? Okay, cool. So comment below if you are in the audience. Let me know who is here, and I will give you a little shout out. I just want to make sure I'm not talking to myself. If I am talking to myself, nothing new. I do it all the time. I'm just kidding. But yeah, let me know who is here. And we will go from there. But tonight's plan is to just share my screen. Gonna go through Letterboxd and show you what I watched. So nothing too crazy. Should be really simple and pretty chill too. Oh, great. I see the Brier Patch is here. I won't share your name just in case you want to keep that private. But welcome. Really glad to have you here, Brier Patch. Thank you for supporting me always. You're the best. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen right now. Do I remember how to do this? Share screen. Yeah, I want to share my screen. All right, cool. So you should be seeing my Letterbox profile right now. Oh, hello, Noah. I am going to chill right now while we wait for a few more people to come. But thank you so much for tuning in, Noah, and thank you for tuning in, Brier Patch. Let's have a little conversation right now. Let me know what Halloween movies did you watch, Brier Patch and Noah. Let me know. We can just discuss Halloween movies. What were your favorite watches this month? Do you have any questions for me that I can answer while I stall and hope that more people show up? I don't even need a lot of people to show up, but I want a conversation to go on. You know what I mean? So comment below any movies that you've been watching, because also this is a teamwork. This is a team effort. You know, like, yes, I'm sharing movies that I watched with you, but I want to know what you watched as well, you know, to get recommendations. Okay. Hello, Aaron. Thank you for joining. And Noah went to the theaters to see Hocus Pocus. All right. So did I. Spoiler alert. Hate to break that to you. I have a Hocus Pocus poster right here, but I don't want to move my camera because it's all set up right now. So, but just believe me, I have a Hocus Pocus poster right next to me. But yeah, I went to the theater, saw Hocus Pocus. It was incredible in the theaters. And as you can tell by my Letterbox backdrop, it is like one of my favorite movies ever. Okay, Aaron saw The Nun 2. It was fine. All right. I can imagine that. That's kind of what I would expect for a movie like The Nun 2. So glad you thought it was at least fine, not awful. Then Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas, Halloween Town. Great movies all around. Like, those are all classics. I love those movies. And then Terrifier 1 and 2. I've never seen those movies, but I've heard of them. It's like, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I think it's the one with that creepy clown guy. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We'll wait for a few more people to come in, but my idea for tonight, I just wanted to be super chill. You know, I was thinking about making a formal video where, you know, I actually go through the month and talk about movies that I watched, and it's edited and put together and all that fun stuff. But I decided against it mostly because I don't have the time. It's hard, man. It's so hard having a full-time job now. I mean, I've had a full-time job before, and sorry about my chair. It's very, makes a lot of noises when I move. But, you know, I still wanted to have some sort of Halloween send-off video tomorrow's Halloween, as we know, and I do have a video coming out tomorrow, but it's not what you're expecting. It has to do with one of my favorite actors. Their birthday's tomorrow. And so I have a top 10 video for that actor coming out tomorrow. I'm not going to give it away just for fun. You'll have to either guess or see tomorrow. Okay, wait for a few more people. Brier Patch asks, what is your all-time favorite Halloween movie? Oh, that's so hard. That is so hard because I have favorite horror movies and I have favorite Halloween movies. Because to me, a Halloween movie, like if I'm thinking about my favorite Halloween movie, I don't jump right to my favorite horror movie. I jump to a movie that I want to watch every Halloween or at least every other Halloween. Like this is one that it's got to be rewatchable. It earns points if it's nostalgic. If I like the performances and the setup and everything. I'm not going to lie though. The one movie that I've watched every Halloween, every October since 2018, I have not missed a year, is The Nightmare Before Christmas. So I think I'm going to go with that one. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later on in this live stream, but I actually caught that one in theaters on my birthday, which was an incredible experience on its own, and it made the movie that much better in my eyes. So love that movie. Hocus Pocus is a close second. Jackson, you moron. Hocus Pocus is a close second. And then if we're talking about like horror movies, I love Psycho. That's my favorite horror film. And then also The Others. I'm getting it in frame, but I love The Others. Okay. Noah, I completely agree. I recognize you. Like we've totally talked before. We follow each other. Is it on? I think we follow each other on YouTube, and I'm sure I follow you on Letterbox because I know that profile picture. It's a great profile picture. I recognize you. I know I've talked to you before, but we definitely got to talk more, man. I'd love to talk about movies with you. And Jackson, oh man, this is Jackson Cottrell, everyone, my good friend. He's been on the channel plenty of times, and he is recounting a real life experience that did not happen to me or him, but our good friend Jack, who surprisingly has never been on the channel, but he is an amazing friend. Hey, buddy. Glad you could show up, Bernardo. Good to see you, man. And then Bailey, welcome. Hello. Love to see you. And Brier Patch says, it's one of my favorites too. Good choice. Thank you so much. Eddie. Hey, Eddie, what's going on? I am doing really well. I'm loving my job. Arizona is finally getting cooler, and so I can't complain there. Like, for real, it's nighttime, and it's not 100 degrees, so that's incredible. But okay, I am going to pause from the chats. Keep sending them in. Feel free to keep sending in comments. But when I share my screen, I can't see the comments actively. It's kind of weird. And so anyways, what I want to do today, for those of you who are just joining, I just want to go through the movies that I watched in October. I was saying earlier that I wanted to have a formal video where I edit it and everything, but you know, with time and everything, it takes so long to make that kind of video, especially because I'm talking about around 25 movies tonight. And I just don't have the time to edit that kind of video right now. But I was saying that tomorrow I will have a video. It's just not really Halloween related. It's in honor of one of my favorite actors whose birthday is tomorrow. And so stay tuned for that. But let's get started. So first Halloween related movie I watched was Donnie Darko. Now, if I click on a new screen, does that change? No, it does not. All right, that is good to know. Let me see. Share this tab instead. Okay, so now we're on the Donnie Darko page. So with Donnie Darko, I watched it on October 2nd because that's a significant date in this movie, which I didn't even know. I saw that on Twitter and I was like, hey, that movie's been on my watch list. I was planning on watching it for the 2000s challenge anyways. Might as well watch it. And I enjoyed it. I gave it a 7 out of 10, which is good in my eyes. It was a first-time watch. A lot of people are like crazy about this movie. I'm even looking right now. My friends that I follow on Letterbox, some of them, look at this, like all 5 out of 5s, and we got a 4.5. There are a bunch of fans. For me, it was a very interesting experience. I liked Jake Gyllenhaal and Jenna Malone's performance, especially being so early on in their career. That was fun to see. But, the movie didn't really make much sense beyond that. I had a lot of questions by the end of it, and I had this plan to look up a bunch of, like, YouTube videos on, like, Donnie Darko ending explained and whatnot, but then I just kinda lost interest, and I haven't gone back. So I watched it October 2nd, and I thought it was just fine. Let's talk about The Uninvited. So The Uninvited is oh, you know what? Did I just stop screen sharing? Yeah, I did. I'm doing so good at this. It's because I exited out of the tab. I just realized I have to click on share my screen before I exit out of the tab. Good lesson learned. Okay, so Uninvited. This was a rewatch, and it's a significant movie to me because I saw it. This was one of the first Criterions I ever purchased. It was um, no, it wouldn't have been 2015. Maybe it was. It was 2014 or 2015, and I bought it at the Barnes& Noble Criterion sale. But the significance of this was very early on, where I didn't really know what Criterions were. To me, they were just these elite movies that had really cool covers, and I was a physical media collector. And so really all I knew about was Fantastic Mr. Fox, and then I later discovered 12 Angry Men because I'd seen it. And The Uninvited is special because I saw the cover and right away was like, that looks incredible. And also at the sale, I'm pretty sure The Uninvited is one of those movies that's $15, not $20. And me and my high school budget was like, yeah, I can only get so many movies. I'm going to get a cheaper one as one of my movies that I choose. And so a little bit of fun background there with Uninvited. As for the movie itself, I think it's a great movie. It's very goofy, but it also has some fun, haunting scenes. It's perfect for October, and revisiting it was a blast, especially because I hadn't seen it since around 2015. So it was long overdue for a rewatch. I watched this one specifically. The reason I rewatched it was because I wanted to feature it in my top 10 or my 8 great black and white horror movies. And so that was the reason I watched The Uninvited. All right. Jackson says, seriously, though, you got to watch Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi's best horror movie. Dude, I know. I really do. It's been on the watch list every year, and it just doesn't happen every year. I hate to say it, man. Like, I just got to make sure it happens. But I think I had to prepare for it. I know it's nothing too crazy. I mean, for crying out loud, it's a PG-13 movie. But of the clips I have seen, I'm like, wow, this looks like one of those PG-13 movies that is definitely, pushing the limit. It's definitely going to have a fun time. And I just had to be in the mood for it. And then Bernardo finally saw The Others, which I'm so happy about. Bernardo, such a great movie. Like I said, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Okay, Aaron, Donnie Darko overrated. Yep, that is fair. I don't think it's necessarily overrated. I enjoyed it. I'm just not on the hype train like everyone else is. When did you change the channel name? I was so confused. The Uninvited is great ghost movie. How's it going, man? It's good to see a comment from you. I don't think we've connected since my Harry Potter live stream, maybe. I don't know, man. It's been a minute, but yeah, I changed the channel name in June. I had an update video where it was just kind of like a channel update moving forward. To give a quick background to everyone, if you missed that video, I started my first real full-time like salary job. Before this, I've worked part-time jobs. I did have a full-time job before, a little different though, because it wasn't salary. And then I've been in school. Anyways, I started my first like big boy job and that started in July. And just as a means of like transitioning into a more professional path, I'm working at a hospital and everything. I wanted to kind of differentiate my channel, like my movie life and my professional life. And so at work, I'm Nathan Hale. On YouTube, you all know my name. I'm not opposed to hiding my name. I mean, you know my name. It's Nathan Hale and everything. But just as a means to differentiate the two, I decided to make the channel a more general name. And so Maple Street Movies is inspired by The Twilight Zone. If you couldn't tell, I really like that TV show. It's inspired by the episode the monsters are doing Maple Street. And plus, I just like the name Maple Street Movies. The whole idea is whenever you visit Maple Street Movies, though, my channel, whenever you visit Maple Street, you are getting a different part of the neighborhood to visit. And so, but the theme of the channel, talking about classics, is still very much so present. I do have some plans in the future to talk about more modern movies, but you'll have to wait and see. But really good connecting with you again. Yes, Bailey, the Uninvited, I Married a Witch, Blue is the Warmest Color are a few off the top of my head that are cheaper from a Criterion. Yes, exactly. Thank you for commenting that. I think Ministry of Fear is also one of those. If I remember right, I think I spent $15 on Ministry of Fear. And then Luke got a gotcha, cool, and yeah, wow. That Harry Potter stream was a while ago. That was the summer of 2021. That's crazy. Yeah, that was the Harry Potter summer on my channel. It's been a minute since I've done that. That was like before my rebranding of talking about like classics mostly. But yeah, I loved that summer. Between you and me, all of you people watching this, you get the exclusive behind the scenes. I'm really disappointed with that Harry Potter summer, and not because of the content. I loved the content, but I just couldn't engage with the audience, and I think it's because my channel is so distinctly talking about like Criterions and now black and white movies that suddenly out of nowhere releasing Harry Potter content, my viewers were like, "Who are you? Like, what's your problem, man?" And it just didn't get the views I wanted, but it was good. It was a good lesson learned because now I know, like, no, I got to stick to one, theme, and that's totally fine because I love talking about the movies that I talk about today. But between us, I wish that Harry Potter summer could have gone better. Oh gosh. Okay. Brier Patch asks if you couldn't tell my family's watching this. So thanks, fam. That was so cringy. Yeah, so I had to choose between Hocus Pocus and Nightmare. I love both of them. To me, like, they're no joke, both 10 out of 10 movies. And I know Hocus Pocus is an acquired taste. Like, if you didn't grow up with it, it's harder to love it. But I had to choose Nightmare Before Christmas. I love both of them, though. But the reason I choose Nightmare, it's more rewatchable. I mentioned earlier, I watch it every October. I love the stop motion. Animation, and I love the Disneyland ride when it's like the Haunted Mansion or the Nightmare Before Christmas theme. Love that. So it has more going for it. Whereas Hocus Pocus, the biggest thing going for it is it's very nostalgic for me, and I just love the performances of the three witches. So I think that Nightmare Before Christmas has a little bit more going for it overall, but no joke, those are probably my two favorite Halloween movies. Okay, Luke says, I think 3 Outlaw Samurai might have been a cheaper one too. I think you're right. That sounds familiar. I've had many projects like that just die a death on YouTube, but I love doing. It is what it is sometimes. It's so true. It's sad. Like, you wish that you could just like come out with a video series and everyone's like, whoa, crazy. Let's talk about Harry Potter. And then in some regards, that did happen. I remember those live streams. I got the Harry Potter fans out, and actually Bailey, if she's still here, Bailey was literally a guest on one of the live streams. We ranked the Harry Potter books together. It was a blast. And then I know, Luke, you commented on the live stream and you were very active, but it wasn't the right content for this channel. And Bernardo, I completely agree. It is a banger, always will be. I felt the same way while I watched it in theaters. In fact, speaking of which, I watched it on October 10th, and I'm not going to click on it because my review was just, I Put a Spell on You is one of the greatest movie scenes of all time. But I watched it on October 10th, and it was after coming out of that movie theater experience that I thought, all right, October has started. Before then, it was almost like a warm-up to October, but Hocus Pocus in theaters sealed the deal, and I was like, yep, it's October, full throttle, Halloween is happening, let's do this thing. And you'll notice, too, that after, it's kind of funny, excuse me, the beginning of the month is kind of like, yeah, it's like some Halloween watches here and there. But after Hocus Pocus, it progressively gets way more Halloween themed. We have Halloween movies, like the literal movies, The Witches, Monster House. Anyways, I'm spoiling the whole video here. But it really did just like set the tone for my October. So loved that. And then mine too. I don't know what you're referring to. I think you're talking about, your two favorite Halloween movies being Hocus Pocus and Nightmare. Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movies. There, that's my TED Talk. Well, you know what? I am not agreeing with that TED Talk. It is through and through a Halloween movie. It is. It just is. Like, I know Christmas happens in it, but the whole movie's completely creepy. They're purposely making it as creepy as possible. Like, I can't watch it during Christmas time. And I guess I can see you doing it, but just for me personally, it's 100% Halloween. Suspiria is always a great October watch. I've never seen it. From what I've heard, I don't think it'd be my type of movie, but maybe I'll give it a try someday. Aaron, I've never read the books or seen the Harry Potter movies. I went to Catholic school and I was banned. It was banned, excuse me. Yeah, no, to each their own. Like, I'm not going to judge anyone for not being able to watch anything. I mean, me of all people knows what it's like not to watch certain content. So, no judgments here. Hocus Pocus originally came out during the summer. Always thought it was funny, but wanted to see the video rentals in the 90s over movie theaters. Yeah, no, that's fair. I can see why it came out in the summer, so that, yeah, like you said, it could come out on video rental by October. But yeah, interesting choice there. Yeah, while we're on that topic, I've mentioned this in a few Letterbox reviews, but I'm convinced 1993 is the greatest year for like family horror films. We have Hocus Pocus, The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Addams Family Values, I think it is, the sequel Addams Family movie. There is another one that I cannot think of right now. I know there's another one. But then there was also a movie I watched yesterday, called The Halloween Tree, and it's based on the Ray Bradbury movie. But anyways, 1993, incredible year for movies. Did I ever say Nightmare? Nightmare, Hocus Pocus, Addams Family, Halloween Tree. There's another one. I can't think of it. I've always considered the Godfather movies to be Thanksgiving movies. I could see that. Gavin, do you agree that Prisoner of Azkaban is the best Harry Potter movie to watch in October? That's hard. Like, initially I wanted to say yes, like right away, 100%. But then I think about the Sorcerer's Stone when they're at the Great Feast and it's Halloween night and the troll is lurking through the castle, but you see those pumpkins and you see the Halloween treats on the table. And the first one really gives off some great Halloween vibes. I'd say the first or the third one. Because as the series gets darker, you would think that they're more Halloween style, but that first and third one, really the first three, I would say, I think they all have a case to be made for best one to watch in October. Okay, one movie I want to talk about is The Uncanny. This was a very strange movie that I watched in the month of October, and my review was a very bad pun. I'll let you be stuck reading that while I give my review. So The Uncanny was a movie that I watched because in my Discord's Hooptober, there was a certain category that you had to watch a Halloween movie for. It was either a movie that starts with a vowel or a movie that's like really poorly rated. I think I'd use the vowel one on this one. But the movie is basically about how cats are awful creatures and how they will kill you if they have the chance. Sign me up, right? I love cats, but that is a hilarious plot. What I actually got from it, though, was a very cheesy 70s anthology film that was really dark. I wasn't expecting it to be as dark as it was. And it was just really stupid. Like, I wanted it to end really bad. The only good thing about it, or this isn't even a good thing, the good thing about the experience was that it went by fast because I was setting up a bed while watching it. Super random, I know. But I was setting up my bed because I had moved rooms, and so it at least made the runtime go by a little faster because I just was playing on my iPad as I set the bed up. But yeah, that movie kind of sucks. Hot take, I dislike the Harry Potter movies. My family loves them. Every time I try to watch them, I just dislike them more. Yeah, no, that is definitely a hot take. I'm not going to deny that. I think generally they are very well received movies, of course. But to each their own. Like I said, I'm not going to judge anyone for their takes. Film is subjective for a reason. So, yeah, no, not judging at all. but that is in fact a hot take. Okay, I'm not going to talk about every movie because some of them are just like, it was fine, let's move on with our lives. But if you want to read every review in depth, then definitely visit me on my profile. And if I'm not following you, one thing, this is really random, I want to make a little call out to this though. A few years ago, I unfollowed a ton of people on Letterbox, and the reason I did it was because my friends, like I actually know in person, their reviews weren't popping up for me. And so in an attempt to try to focus more on people I knew like in person, I unfollowed a ton of people, and since then I have re-followed more people. I still unfollow, or I still follow a very small amount of people, but I always hate that vibe of like, oh wow, he thinks he's too cool to like follow me back. If you follow me and you want me to follow you back, just comment on one of my reviews and let me know. I'll happily follow you back. The last thing I want to be is that guy who's like thinks he's too cool to follow someone back. Anyway, sorry, little side tangent. Oh, really quick, Aaron, I don't use Letterboxd. Maybe I should. Aaron, Letterboxd is a film lover's dream. I think everyone who uses Letterboxd on this live stream would agree with that. It's amazing. It is incredible, and I will warn you, possibly addicting. I've used the app since 2017, and then I haven't missed a movie log since 2018. So I started like late in 2017 in November, and then my blackout years start in 2018, and I've reviewed every movie since then. So have a lot of movie reviews on there, and I take pride in my movie reviews, except for that stupid Uncanny movie review. That was pretty bad. All right, so The Bad Seed is a movie I want to talk about. So this movie came out in 1956. I highlighted this in my 8 great black and white horror films video. But if you're looking for a movie to watch, I know we're at the end of October, so this will be more so next October. I really enjoyed this one. It has a great performance from the 2 leads, the mother and the daughter, Nancy Kelly, Patty McCormick as the little daughter. Something that's unique about The Bad Seed that doesn't really happen in a lot of other horror films is you don't see the horrific things happen. They all happen off screen, but they're happening, and so it makes it scarier. In my black and white horror video, I talked about how it reminds me of Jaws. How with Jaws, you don't see the shark a lot, but the shark is there, and so it makes it scarier when you're watching it. And that's how The Bad Seed was. Things are happening off camera, and so when you see little Rhoda, who's sweet and innocent, that there's something more to it. So that's one that I definitely want to recommend that you watch. The Bad Seed, really good movie. Bernardo, I joined Letterbox in late 2020 because of Nathan. That's amazing, Bernardo. I'm sure you've told me that, but I totally forgot that was the reason that you joined. I'm honored, to be honest, because I know that you're an active user now. I'm very glad that you joined, and I love following you, man. So keep posting those reviews, keep making those lists. It is a pleasure following you. Marty addicted to Goodreads. I might as well add Letterbox. All right, Aaron, if you are addicted to Goodreads, Letterbox puts that app to shame. Goodreads is great for the fact that you can keep track of your books. Trust me, this is coming from a Goodreads user. I literally used it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I actively use it. I have a challenge on there and everything. I actively use Goodreads, but there are so many flaws with that app. I just don't like the mechanics of it. Like, I'm on there, I'm on and off. Oh, and Bailey right here saying Letterbox is so much better. Yeah, I'm on and off Goodreads. I'm literally there just to log my progress on a book and to mark my challenge as being updated. But yeah, completely agree, Bailey. I wish Goodreads was more like Letterbox. I do too. One of which I wish you could put half stars on books. But the reason I'm saying all this is because if you like Goodreads, you will love Letterbox. There's just a lot more flexibility with Letterbox. And when I'm using Goodreads, I find myself thinking, oh my gosh, I wish they had this feature like Letterbox does. Yes, it is. It is. I like straight up. It is. I'm appreciative of the app because I can log my books, but it's garbage. Letterbox is a godsend and keep track what I watch and what I want to watch. Exactly, man. And the nice thing about Letterbox too, They're not sponsoring me, by the way. But the nice thing about Letterboxd is it's so convenient to keep track of your movie viewing experience. Like, obviously, you can log movies, you can make lists, but even beyond that, I don't think I really understood Letterboxd and how great it was until even like maybe a year or two, 3 years into it. And even still, like in the last year, I think I've started using the tag feature more often. But it's so nice to be able to go to your watch list and say, I want to watch a horror film that was made in the 2000s tonight. And to just filter your watch list by horror genre, 2000s. And let's say, okay, and I want to sort it by the highest average rating. You can do all of that. It's an amazing app. And I don't see myself ever quitting. Okay, Bailey, I don't want to skip this comment. I also don't follow everyone back. When someone follows me, I check out their profile and see how much our interests align. And if I know someone through YouTube comments well enough, I'll follow back. I'm honestly the same way. That's really funny you mentioned that, Bailey, because I find myself, I'm very similar. So what I usually do is if I don't know the person and they follow me, every now and again, I'll look at my followers because I see I have like new followers. And it's almost like a test. And I see what movies they watch. Another thing I'm looking for is if they actually review movies. Because if I have friends that are on the app that don't review movies, but I'm still fine following them because they're my friends. I know them. I would not unfollow them. But if you're a stranger and I don't know you and you just log movies, and especially if you don't leave a review or like a rating, odds are I'm not going to follow you because I'm not learning anything about your taste in movies. I'm just seeing what you're watching and I want to know what you actually think of a movie. So there's your little lesson if you're trying to get me to follow you. That sounds so pathetic, but those are the things I look for. And then, yeah, if someone comments on my Letterboxd reviews, if they actually have conversations or they're from YouTube, then I'll totally follow them back. Even if they don't leave reviews, it all depends. So okay, let's talk about Attack of the 50-Foot Woman and what a disappointment that movie was. This was a movie that my sister and I decided to watch kind of jokingly, not expecting this to work. I told my sister, hey, why don't we watch Attack of the 50-Foot Woman? And no joke, without hesitation, she's like, yes, please. I had to include that in my review. I mean, it was a great moment. This, in my Hooptober challenge on Discord, I think this met the condition of a really, like a trash movie, so it had to be rated 2.5 or lower average. And that's exactly what it was. And, you know, the reason Attack of the 50-Foot Woman is so bad is because there's no action. Like, I wanted to watch a movie that depicts that movie poster because that movie poster is incredible. I mean, even look at this backdrop. That scene happens, but it's so fast. It makes me mad. The movie is, where does it say how long it is? I think it's like an hour long. Yeah, 66 minutes. And, oh, maybe this wasn't the trash movie. Oh, maybe this was the Vowel movie. I don't know what this was. Oh, no. I think on IMDb it has less than a 5, so that's why I counted it. But this movie's so short. I'm not even joking. The 50-Foot Woman doesn't attack until around the 55-minute mark. And the rest is just boring dialogue. Yeah, like, please. Like, I want to see the woman attack. I wanted a movie like that scene in Lilo and Stitch where the spider's attacking all the townspeople, but I wanted it to be a 50-Foot Woman. With all that being said, though, like I said, I love this poster. It's an incredible poster. It's just not a good movie. Okay, let's go back to my Letterboxd, the movies that I watched this month. Share. Okay, we are back. Okay, I have a few comments I want to quickly... Bernardo was in one of the Letterbox videos where they interview people about their 4 favorites or their recently 4 movies watched. And I think that's incredible. That's on my bucket list. And yes, Bernardo, you definitely passed. You actually leave movie reviews. And we have similar taste, right? Like, you talk about black and white movies all the time. You talk about silent films. You love silent films. I don't think I know someone who loves them more than you. And so absolutely you passed. So this was going to be on TCM, and it was safe to say I was not going to watch it. I think you're talking about the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. It was just so disappointing. My weakness is awful movies. I'm adding it to my list. No, Aaron, no. See, I wish I could tell you it's so bad it's good. I wanted to leave that movie thinking that movie was trash and that's why I loved it. And I was fully prepared to watch that kind of movie, but I wanted it to be 75% her attacking and not 90% dialogue, 10% her attacking. All right, this is just Bernardo confirming the silent film love. Okay, not going to go through all this. The Host, directed by Bong Joon-ho, was a great watch for my 2000s challenge. It also checked off a foreign language watch in my Discord's Hooptober challenge. So that was awesome. Really good monster movie. You could watch this any time of the year, though. It doesn't have to be October. Night of the Demon. I really want to talk about this one because this was a favorite discovery of mine this month. One of my favorite watches, honestly. So Night of the Demon, Curse of the Demon. It has two different names depending on where you live. I don't know what to call it. I'm very conflicted because IMDb has a different name. Anyways, this movie it reminded me of The Ring, and I talk about that in my review. And the reason is because this character is cursed, and they have a set amount of time to basically solve the curse. Look at this guy's face. That is such a great face. I'm sorry. Okay, anyways. They have a set amount of time to solve the curse, and time's ticking. The movie is moving along, and you're wondering how are they going to survive the curse. And in between all that, there's some fun mystery, but I also just loved the look of the demon. You see the demon at the beginning of the movie. You also see it towards the end, and I kind of wish that they would have saved the reveal of the demon for the ending, but I'm not complaining too much because that initial look at it actually sold me on the movie. It made me want to keep watching, so there is that. Hocus Pocus, I talked about that. I got to see it in theaters. It was an incredible experience. Let's talk about The Witches, because The Witches was a movie that I had seen when I was a kid, and my mom actually didn't want me to watch it. It was on TV, and it was in that scene. If you've seen The Witches, it was in that scene where little Mikey, just kidding, I have no idea what the kid's name is. I forgot what his name is. The little boy in the movie, he is at that conference with all the witches in disguise, and they're all taking their skin off, and they're all gross, and they're bald and just creepy looking. And they're all talking about like getting rid of the children. And my mom was like, turn this off. And I was like, no, but it's not even bad. It's fine, Mom. And she wouldn't let me watch it. That was when I was like really young though. And it was on ABC Family. So anyways, I watched it this year, and it was because I had to watch a witch movie. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really weird. And I was conflicted, like, would I like this more as a kid or would I hate it more as a kid because it was really creepy? As an adult, though, I enjoyed it. I think I would have at least liked the adventure aspect when little Timothy's a mouse more as a kid, but it was still fun as an adult. And I liked the animatronics or the puppets that they used. I don't know how they did that. I think it was the puppet use, but I really liked the look of it. And Bernardo mentioned that the makeup is incredible, and I totally agree. Yeah, The Witches is terrifying. Also, I hate mice. Wow, so that movie was made for you. I have no interest in watching that remake. I saw a little bit of I watched the trailer a few years ago when it came out, and no thanks. Okay, let's go back to movies I watched. So The Witches. And then starting October 11th, why did I start this? I'm trying to think. I had a reason I wanted to watch Halloween again. I hadn't seen it since 2018, so it had that going for it. I think on top of that, I wanted to see more Halloween movies in general. And so I was like, well, I might as well rewatch the first one. And I really enjoyed it. To me, it's still easily the best of the Halloween movies I've seen. I do think that the theme is played a little too often. I think it kind of overstays its welcome. But I still love it. And like I said, it's my favorite of the series. I also have to say, I have to throw this out there. I'm not a fan of slasher movies. And so for me to even watch the Halloween movies is kind of impressive on its own. But but I still really like the first one. Aaron mentions that it's such a slow burn. Yeah, it takes a minute for it to get really exciting, but I think I actually like that about it. I like that there's not a lot of slashing. I mean, there is as you get further into the movie, but I just like Michael Myers just stalking that first initial, those the sightings that you see of him in the neighborhood, and he hides behind the hedge or he's through the window, the school window. He's just staring at Laurie. It's so creepy. I love it. And then Bernardo just saw it in theaters. I know a lot of people are seeing it in theaters this month. That's awesome. My theater is playing in theaters tomorrow, but I will be going trick-or-treating with my nieces and nephews, so won't be watching that. Okay, so the reason I mentioned Halloween is because I also saw Halloween 2, and everything after Halloween was a first-time watch for me. So Halloween 2 was first-time watch, and it continues right on from the first one. I don't know why I'm telling you this because you've all probably seen it. I thought it was fine. I think it's kind of the same movie as the first one, but just not as good. And I compared it to Home Alone 2, where it's the same plot, but a different location. And that's not a con to the movie. Like, I love Home Alone 2. I'm just pointing that out. Yeah, I did love the ending song. I wanted to like this one more, though. I will say that. I don't think I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. And then speaking of not liking movies as much as I thought I would, Halloween 3 was even more so the case. I was very intrigued. I had been told it was an anthology film. I don't know that it's an anthology film. Anthology, in my mind, is you see several different stories happen in one movie. And it's not that. It's one story, but it's a break from Michael Myers, for sure. And that's a fun refresher, but the movie was just kind of disturbing for me and also dumb. I did really like how does it go? Like 8 more days till Halloween. 8 more days till Halloween. I don't think I'm doing that tune right. But the Shamrock Shingle Shamadoo Company jingle, as you can tell, I've only seen the movie once. The little song that plays on the trailer, I loved that, and it was stuck in my head as the movie progressed. Oops. Halloween Ends is definitely the best. I'm guessing you're saying that because it ends. I haven't seen that one actually. I've only seen the 2018 one as far as like new Halloween movies go. And Bernard says he loves the second, third one. Yeah, I know it's like for Halloween fans, I know they're very popular, and I know the third one has like its own little following. But I didn't like it as much as I wanted to, which was too bad. Okay, let's go. Connection. Okay, I think I'm showing. Okay, am I back? You all lost me for a second. Am I back? I think I'm back. I hope I'm back. Can someone comment below if they can hear me? Okay, cool. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I don't know what it is. I always have the worst of luck with these live streams where I just go out randomly. But I'm glad that I went out at least when I was sharing Bailey's comment, because that's the great jingle from the movie. Okay. Let's see. After Halloween 2, they were planning on doing an anthology franchise, but critics and audiences didn't like, so they went back with Myers. Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's why people call it an anthology film, because it was supposed to be an anthology franchise where they just keep doing stories, but it's not an anthology film, because aren't anthology films like several stories in one? That's at least how I've always understood them. I used to love Halloween H2O. It came out when I was a kid. So actually, I saw that for the first time this month and I really liked it too. Okay. So let me share my screen again. Hopefully we don't go out, just for sake of, nah, I'm going to risk it. If I go out, just be patient. I'll come back. But I wanted to shed some light on Friday the 13th. I think when I went out, what I was saying was I took a break from Halloween to watch Friday the 13th for the first time because I never seen it. And it was Friday the 13th in October. And so, perfect opportunity for a first time watch. And the movie wasn't what I was expecting. I thought that there was, Jason with the hockey mask, and that never even happens. And I didn't know Kevin Bacon was in it either. So that was shocking. But and I also thought the acting wasn't the best. I did like the music. I thought it was pretty eerie, and I liked the unexpected twist. Like, I don't know anything about this movie. I don't know if it's like a hot take to like the twist. I don't know if people like this movie in general. I was looking at Friday the 13th rankings actually around the time I watched this, and I was shocked. This movie is like no one's favorite. It's other movies in the franchise, a lot of people like more, and probably because Jason comes in. I don't know. I really liked the twist, and I thought the killer was creepy too. Like, yeah, I really liked it. Okay, so let's go back to my other screen. I'm not going to spend time on Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktacular, but just want to give a shout out to that. Did anyone else grow up watching that on Cartoon Network? Because I used to watch that before trick-or-treating, and it was a blast. Rewatched Monster House. That's always a classic. I absolutely love that movie. Rewatched King Kong, and that's a good movie for the creatures and for the stop motion. But everything outside of like being on Skull Island to me is kind of boring. Mickey and Friends Trick or Treats was a blast. It is a kids movie through and through, but I watched it because it was stop motion animation. And I loved the stop motion animation. So if you're looking for a fun little Halloween movie that has some Disney spirit in it, then watch Mickey and Friends Trick or Treats. I really liked it. Okay, then I continued my Halloween watch with Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And let's take a look at what I said. All right, Halloween 4. So this was a movie, I went into it with decent expectations. My friend Nick, this is his favorite sequel of the whole series. And I hate when I watch a movie and I don't agree with people on it. Not because I want to be like the crowd, but because like I just, I'd rather agree with someone and like talk about, yeah, that movie's great, than be like, yeah, no, what do you see in that movie? I didn't think Halloween 4 was awful. I didn't even think it was bad. I thought it was just fine. I thought it went in an interesting direction that I wasn't expecting. I didn't know that certain characters weren't going to be in it. But I did love the ending. I thought the ending was an incredible twist. I didn't know about that. I really liked it. And also, it was filmed in parts of Utah that I lived in for the last 2 years. So that was awesome to see. And then I didn't like the Michael Myers mask, but yeah, I think I had high expectations and it didn't quite live up to them. It wasn't awful though. Okay. I have a few comments to catch up on. Okay, Bailey also likes the first Friday the 13th. I haven't seen the others in forever, so I don't know where it would rank for me in the series. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I've only seen the first one, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought it was kind of, I can see why it's kind of critically bashed. Like the critic ratings are horrendous for it. I just liked the ending and it kind of stuck with me. You've obviously never seen Scream. Friday the 13th plays an important part. I have seen Scream. I've seen Scream, but I saw it in 2015. And so if something with Friday the 13th is referenced in Scream, that just completely left my mind because I don't even know what's referenced in that. I know that in Scream they like reference other horror movies and they kind of make fun of it. They kind of, you know, poke fun at them. But I don't know what you're referencing with Friday the 13th. It looks like I'm due for a Scream rewatch, but probably won't happen until next October. Okay, Bernardo also loves Halloween 4 the most as the favorite sequel. Yeah, no, you know what? Let's just skip to it right now. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't said this publicly, but I think my favorite sequel is Halloween H2O 20 years later. Like, I actually kind of really liked this movie. It's not perfect by any means, but I think I was expecting a really bad movie, and it was not. Okay, wait, really quickly. I'm distracted because I'm reading these comments. One of the questions Drew Barrymore's character gets asked is, who is the killer in Friday the 13th? Friday the 13th gets Drew Barrymore's boyfriend. Okay, who gets killed? And yeah, I need to rewatch that scene because I know she's on the phone and I know she talks about horror tropes. I don't even remember that scene though. That's so funny. I'm glad I forgot about it because, hey, Friday the 13th was a completely new experience for me because I had forgotten about that. So that's great. All right, let's talk about Halloween H2O. So I loved the first 15 minutes of this movie. I thought it was a very exciting beginning, and I thought the credits roll was a great callback to the first two movies. I think it set the stage properly for being 20 years later from the first two movies. And I also like the idea of Laurie moving on and creating a new life for her. I know that it's technically not a legacy sequel because we've had plenty of Halloween movies in between 2 and this one. But if I just view this as the third movie of a trilogy and it follows the first 2, then I think it's a great legacy sequel if we're looking at it that way. It does have some cheap jump scares, and it's definitely a product of the 90s. It's a little cheesy here and there, and then some characters are just really stupid. But I still liked it, and I liked just the idea of her reuniting with Michael Myers after all these years of being convinced that he's dead. And I liked the conclusion to this one too. So I don't know what that says about the other Halloween movies in me, but I liked this one. I've been afraid to rewatch Halloween H2O because I loved it when I was 9. That's so funny. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I honestly, I wish I could tell you. I'm so naive to the Halloween series that I wish I could say, yeah, you'll probably like it. You probably won't like it. But as far as I'm concerned, I liked it. But it's kind of like a John Candy movie where you know that you're watching a movie that's not great by any means, but you still enjoy it. That's my way of describing it. And plus, John Candy's on my mind for reasons that you'll find tomorrow. Okay. Rewatched Corpse Bride. It was my little sister's first time seeing it, and that was awesome. She really enjoyed it. Oh, really quickly, before I go on to that, I forgot to mention A Nightmare on Elm Street. That was the first time watch this month, crazy enough, and I didn't love it that much. I'm really sorry to all your fans. This is another one of those instances where I wish I loved the movie, but I just didn't. And, I thought that I really liked the 80s music, and I thought some of the, like the first death sequence you see, I guess, I think like the way it was filmed was incredible. How the person's, I'm trying to like not spoil it, even though it's a really old movie, but how the person's like floating and like going up on the ceiling, really creepy to watch, really well filmed there. Okay, Aaron says I'm not a Freddy fan. Yeah, no, neither was I. Like, I didn't find Freddy scary. I just found him really stupid. And so it made it hard for me to get in the mood of like watching a scary movie. Like, at least with Halloween, Michael Myers, he is a creepy dude. Him just standing in the distance, that's creepy. He just looks creepy. Freddy wasn't scary to me. Okay, so the third Nightmare on Elm Street's your favorite. Interesting. Okay. I know nothing about the movies beyond the first one. So, hi, what's up? Thanks for coming, Aaron, Joe. Aaron. Okay, Aaron. I didn't know. Okay, cool. Hi, Aaron. And Joey. So are you together? Oh, Jared. Okay, Joey. There he is. I was like, where? How do you know Joey's here too? Madagascar was the scariest movie I watched in this October. Yeah, fair enough, man. I was gonna say something. Nothing came to my mind. I was gonna make like a sarcastic comment, like, "Yeah, no, that's horrifying," but I'm just gonna leave that comment. Robert Mitchum and Kate Fear is scarier than Freddy. Oh, 100%. I totally agree with this take. Robert Mitchum in Cape Fear is horrifying. For one, he's realistic, and that makes it even scarier. Okay, let's go to The Haunting, because this was a really fun black and white movie that I discovered this month. Discovered as in I watched it this month. I knew about it last year, but I didn't get around to it last year. This is an adaptation of The Haunting of Hill House. I'm well aware of that adaptation of that story, which is ironic because I haven't read the book still. But I've seen the Netflix series. I've seen the one from the 90s. I think it was the 90s with like Owen Wilson, Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and the main character, I can't think of her name right now, but she's the one in The Conjuring. And I really like The Haunting. I find it cool how I've seen multiple adaptations of this book I've never read, but yet every adaptation to me is still well done. I don't remember the 90s one too well. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I remember it being creepy at parts, but also being kind of silly at parts. Anyways, this one was just a really fun movie. Trying to look at my reviews. Yeah, so I wanted it to be a little scarier than it actually was, but it still had a really great setting being in Hill House. And the beginning of the movie, the way they set the movie up was just very effective. The narration from the main lead gets a little cheesy at times, but, it was still a great time. Okay, I love Cape Fear, both versions. I haven't seen the Scorsese version, but I love the original one. Yes, Bernardo, it is directed by Robert Wise. Robert Wise is such an underrated director. I want to watch more movies from him. Lily Taylor, thank you. Thank you. That's her name. Casper was the scariest film I watched this month. You didn't watch too much. I was gonna say you and Joey both didn't watch too much then, I guess. Okay, let's move on to another movie. The next movie I'm going to talk about is No Hard Feelings. No, I'm just kidding. This wasn't scary in the slightest. Okay, rewatched It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown for the first time in like 5 or 6 years. I never logged it on Letterbox, which I was shocked about. But yeah, no, it's a classic. I grew up with it. Rewatched Frankenweenie, always a fun time. Nightmare Before Christmas, I mentioned this earlier, but I saw it in theaters. And the really special thing about it was I got to see it on my birthday. And I never seen it in theaters. And so that within itself was a treat. But then watching it on my birthday was the cherry on top. Like, how cool is it to see one of your favorite movies on the big screen on your birthday? I know Bailey's going to comment. That's actually not cool because I don't like going to the theaters. No, I'm just kidding, Bailey. But for someone who likes going to the theaters, oh my gosh, go away, comment. Sorry, I keep pushing that comment. For someone who likes going to the theaters, I love seeing The Nightmare Before Christmas on the big screen. And I notice more things too that I normally don't notice. Like, for an example, when the kids are getting traumatized by the haunted toys, they're wearing like Mickey Mouse pajamas and Donald Duck pajamas. I didn't notice that before. And then other little things like the vampires, whenever it's sunlight, little details like them shading themselves or wearing an umbrella or holding an umbrella, little things like that you just don't notice because the screen is bigger. It's easier to notice these things. But I absolutely loved the animation. I went through this little phase the last 2 years where I had the movie at a 4.5 out of 5. But with this rewatch, I came to my senses and I gave it a 5 out of 5. Joey is saying, sorry, I stole your point for Nightmare. This is due to our Discord Hooptober challenge. I was going to log this as a rewatch, and I couldn't because Joey did it before me. But it's okay because I counted it as a movie with creepy toys, which is that a stretch? Yes, but there's creepy toys in it, and I was better. Not really. I just needed to count it for something. I was going to count it for Winter Wonderland, but I had already used that for Corpse Bride, so... Anyways, No Hard Feelings, Joey. I'm just glad you're watching it because it's an incredible movie. Okay, and then one of my In fact, my penultimate movie watch of October was Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. This was a rewatch. Oh, why did I click on it? I clicked on it. Okay. I'm going to exit out of that. I didn't review it. I just marked it as a rewatch. But this was a rewatch, and something neat about this rewatch was it was a movie that I'd seen earlier this year. And so I always think it's kind of significant when I watch the same movie more than once in a year. I mean, that just kind of speaks for itself about how good the movie is. And the fact that I saw it for the first time earlier this year and I'm already wanting to rewatch it, that's a great sign. And show some favor for the Alfie's Movie Reward show that I do on my channel. So keep an eye out for that. It will definitely be getting some nominations. Okay, I noticed that it took Lock, Shock, and Barrel a month to kidnap Santa Claus. That's a really good observation. No, yeah, that's totally true, because the time between Halloween and Christmas, I didn't even think about that. That's really funny. They must have just gotten distracted along the way. Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween staple for me. Absolutely. Yeah, I watch it every Halloween, every October. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte is a 9.1 for me. It's an amazing movie. I was pleasantly surprised it was better than its sister movie, in my opinion. I totally agree, Jackson. And the sister movie Jackson's referring to is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Also a great movie, but Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, I also just like a lot more. It is very similar to a movie that I've seen that's a foreign film that I don't want to say because it will spoil that foreign film and spoil this movie as well. But just know that. That doesn't give you any information. It's very similar to another movie I've seen, but I can't tell you that because it'll spoil both movies. And yes, that is very specific, Jackson. I love that. I'm almost curious to hear what was missing for it to lose 0.9 points. It's amazing. An underrated movie that you recently watched, Aaron, was Dead of Night. I love that movie. Last October, so 2022, I had my 8 great black and white horror films video, and I highlighted that one. So I'm glad that more people are watching it. I'm not saying that I'm taking credit for more people watching it, but I'm just glad to hear of someone mentioning it because, yeah, that is a great anthology film. Now, that's an anthology film. Okay. Dude, I watched Whatever Happened to Baby Jane for the first time this month. Oh, no way. That's awesome. What did you think of it, Bernardo? Let me know. Old Lady Horror needs to make a comeback. Old Lady Horror needs to make a comeback. Yeah. I don't know what that means. I have rehearsal for Antigone on Halloween tomorrow. Help. Oh. Good luck. Good luck. Send good vibes to Aaron. Loved it. Glad to hear that, Bernardo. It's basically a black and white Misery, and that's a huge compliment. It's on the same scale that Dave Portnoy does One Bite Pizza. 9.1 is basically more than a 10 out of 10. Oh, are you saying it's basically more than a 10 out of 10? So are you saying like this is going out of 9 and it's a 9.1? Either way, that's a high rating, unless you're like putting it out of 100. Okay, the last movie I will talk about is the last movie I watched, and it was The Halloween Tree. Now, The Halloween Tree was a pretty good watch. Is it the best movie to finish out October, HALEoween year 4? No, but I'm still glad I watched it. It was a fun discovery. It was recommended by my friend Carson, and it's based on the book I read earlier this year of the same title by Ray Bradbury. In fact, Ray Bradbury narrates the movie, so I didn't even know that until going into it and seeing that. But it's a movie that I have it on the screen right here, but I really felt that it was a fun movie to watch. It would have been a fun movie to watch if I was in elementary and it was like a Halloween party movie. Like if it was a thing where we were eating pizza and we had like candy and the teacher, it was something that like led up to it. Like, all right, this Friday is a movie party and we were watching The Halloween Tree. I think I would have eaten this up as a kid, especially the animation and everything. As an adult, unfortunately, I felt it wasn't as entertaining as I wanted it to be. Still loved the animation, the 2D animation. But the reason I specifically call out it would have been a good school movie is because it's animated, but also has some history to teach you. They're traveling throughout time to learn the origins of like Halloween and different things related to Halloween. And so for that, in that regard, I think it's a very good elementary party watch. That's such a niche. I hate that word, niche genre of film. Elementary watch. Like for an example, I wouldn't be able to tell you the name of the movie, but when I was in elementary, we watched this animated film about these kids who go back in time to Martin Luther King Jr. and I think they meet him and they learn about him. And the movie's all about like equality and going against racism and everything. And it was like a fun movie because there were like cool characters that we could look up to. There was like a skater dude and everything. But it was also historical because they're going back in time and meeting Martin Luther King Jr. So that's why I mentioned that it's an elementary movie where it's like historical, but also a fun movie on the sideline. Yeah, it does. I don't remember what you're saying that to. I'm glad that I could recommend it. A Cinema Bates classic, indeed. Well, Cinema Bates classic in the sense that Carson loved it. I loved the recommendation. How about that? Have you seen Eyes Without a Face? I don't know if I've seen you talk about it on your channel much. I have seen it, and the reason you have not seen me talk about it, really quickly, I love this comment. Yeah, it's totally a memory in all of our minds. Sorry, I don't get distracted. Okay, the reason you don't hear me talking about it is because that movie disturbed me so much. Like I could rewatch it and everything if I had to, but it was just so disturbing that I don't want to. And because of that, when a movie isn't rewatchable, that definitely affects the rating for me. Like for an example, Schindler's List, I gave a 10 out of 10, but on like reconsideration, I'm like, that really is more of a 9 out of 10. Cause yes, it's like a perfectly made movie, but I never want to rewatch it. And so I don't think it deserves a 10 out of 10 for me. But sorry, the reason I'm saying all that is because the reason I haven't talked about Eyes Without a Face a lot is because I thought it was a very well-made movie, but it was just so disturbing that it's not one I like talking about. And another movie in that same vein is Freaks, which is kind of contradicting because I bought it. I bought the Criterion. And the more and more I look at this, it's still sealed, so I could just sell it. But the more and more I look at this, I'm like, why did I buy this? Like, I don't want to rewatch Freaks. I've never seen The Unknown or The Mystic. So we'll see if I even keep this. I think it was kind of a just exciting purchase because, I'd seen the Freaks. Sometimes there's Criterions that it's like, oh, I've seen that movie, so I'm going to buy it. But then you're like, wait, but do I actually even like that movie? Okay, Aaron, are you talking about the Martin Luther King Jr. movie that I was referencing? Because I also want to know what this is. Well, I've talked about all the Halloween movies, so let's find out what it is. Martin Luther King. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it by just searching that. That's too funny. Okay, what if I went to like, I'm going to open a new tab. Martin Luther King Jr. animated movie. Ah, I found it. Okay. Has anyone else seen this movie? We are on a total side tangent. Our friend Martin. The reason I'm bringing this up is because this was a movie that I saw in elementary and I loved it. It was a great combination of history, but also animation. And I loved the characters. Look at me. I'm so good. I have it marked as watched. But anyways, if any of you have seen it. Oh, cool. Okay. Thank you, Bailey. Sorry, I just saw this. Yeah, our friend Martin. That's it. Our friend Martin. I mean, oh, nice, Bernardo. Good to know. That's hilarious. Yeah, has anyone else seen this movie? I would recommend it, but I have not seen it since 4th grade. But I just remember loving it as a kid. But it's one of those movies that you loved watching in elementary because it was a double win. Magic School Bus was always a fun movie, a fun show to watch because it was historic. It was like you learn stuff, but also it was entertaining. Same with Bill Nye the Science Guy. I'm trying to think of other ones. Yeah, I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head. But anyways, okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing and get back to all eyes on me. Hey, thank you everyone for watching. This is so weird. Thank you for joining me. Like, for real, it was weird coming back to doing a live stream. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I haven't done one since December of 2021. And so to do another one was crazy, but also a blast. And I hope to do more. But yeah, thank you for joining and for watching, for listening to me talk about the movies I watched this month. Tomorrow, mark your calendars, I will be releasing my top 10 favorite movies from John Candy. There it is. I spoiled it. He's one of my favorite actors, and it's his birthday tomorrow. So I won't have a traditional Halloween video. That's why I wanted to make this video tonight. Plus tomorrow, I'll be trick-or-treating with my nieces and nephews. So hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want this kind of thing in the future. I could do this every October, maybe. Just like a review of my month. Or maybe we could even do this as like a monthly thing, like a monthly hangout where we just go through the movies we watched in the month. That might be fun. Am I receiving like revelation like live on camera? I'll have to think about this more. If you catch the stream later, then comment below on what your thoughts are on what I just said. If you want me to do more live streams, let me know. But yeah, thank you for watching, Jackson. Thank you, Aaron, for tuning in. Really, there were a select few of you, the ones who are actively commenting, who stuck around for the whole stream. And that was awesome. Like, really means a lot, because when you do these things alone, not as effective. So yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Aaron. I will take that feedback into account and consider it. Okay. I am going to hop off, but again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Am I sharing my screen still? Okay. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. It was a blast to talk about these October watches. And yeah, happy Halloween, and make sure to check out my John Candy video tomorrow. Also, Travis, sorry you just tuned in. Enjoy this live stream that just happened. Okay, happy Halloween, everyone. Have a great night.